Hey friends, it's Asha. Welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I kind of just decided to film this out on a whim. As you can tell, I'm in a very cozy outfit. Our heat is actually broken and it's like 40 degrees outside, so it's like 55 degrees in here, so it's pretty cold. So I'm all kind of bundled up and stuff, and I need to wash my hair still, so I put it in a bun and everything. But that's besides the point. For today's video, I asked you guys what videos you want to see, and so many people said they want to see more book related videos. So I'm going to be doing a book recommendations video for newer readers. These books should help you get back into reading if you've previously liked reading or you want to try it out, because I know it's becoming more of a popular thing with book talk and booktube and everything like that. So I have some books here that helped me get back into reading that I really loved. I've talked about all these books before, and I'm not going to go into like crazy detail about each one, but I'll give you a little taste of it, I guess, to kind of just get you like interested in it, if that makes sense. And so I have some books behind me as well that I probably just pull out of the shelf because these are just on my bookshelf and show you. But then I have all these books right here, so we're gonna start with them. Most of them are paperback books, but some of them I also read on my Kindle, like a couple of series that are pretty good. But the initial book that got me back into reading is this one right here, Then She Was Gone by Lisa Jewell. And I thought this book was so good. It's definitely a thriller, kind of creepy. This girl goes missing when she was way younger, and then the mom meets this guy, and his daughter looks very similar to her daughter who went missing. So you kind of get what's going on. It's like very crazy. So many plot twists in this book. It's like, I don't want to keep saying like, but you do not expect what is going to happen in this book. So I really love this book. And yeah, this was the first book I read that got me back into reading a ton of other books. My cat is trying to get in this room. You can kind of hear her. But this book is super good, so I definitely recommend this one. I probably rated it a 5 out of 5 stars because I recommended that one to like all my family. My Grammy read it too, and she also loved it, and she was trying to get back into reading too. And then next, this book right here, I absolutely think is a perfect book for beginner readers because it's a young adult book, but at the same time, there's things in it. It's not like too young adult where there's no, I guess, romance steaminess at all. Like there kind of is a little bit, but it's so easy to read because it is targeted towards young adults. It's really easy to follow the storyline and everything. So I'll just read the little page here. On a Monday afternoon, 5 students at Bayview High walk into detention. Bronwyn the Brain is Yale-bound and never breaks a rule. Addie the Beauty is the picture-perfect homecoming princess. Nate, the criminal, is already on probation for dealing. Cooper, the athlete, is the all-star baseball pitcher. And Simon, the outcast, is the creator of Bayview High's notorious gossip app. So only Simon never makes it out of the classroom. Before the end of detention, Simon is dead. And according to the investigators, his death was not an accident. So basically, they have to go through this whole investigation, and obviously these 4 are under close watch, and they're being investigated and interviewed all the time because they were the ones last in the room with Simon. So they're like, who killed Simon, you know? So they're trying to figure it out, but there's a cute little romance in this one. And it's so easy to read. Like I guarantee you, if you start reading this book, you will finish it within a couple of days, like for sure. Especially if it's your first time getting back into reading, this is a very good one, super easy to read. And then also, if you do read this, another book to go with it is the second version of this, which is called One of Us Is Next, which is like a continued version. Continues with some of the characters in the story, some of their younger siblings and that type of thing. And this one is very interesting too. They open up another truth or dare texting game. So this is like the first major thing that's happened since the first book, like Simon died in his high school or whatever, and someone else dies, and they're trying to figure out, you know, was that an accident? Because it was kind of malicious intent, and you figure everything out. But this one is really good, and you'll probably want to read it if you read One of Us Is Next. And also One of Us Is Lying. This is now a TV show on Peacock TV, and I haven't watched it yet, but I'm sure it's very good. I've wanted to watch it, and yeah, so if you guys read the book, you guys can also check out the TV show. I feel like I look really pale because the light is very bright right here. I don't know. But the next, I guess, author slash books I'm gonna recommend is Colleen Hoover. This is definitely for a little bit of older ages, I would say, because there is a lot of steaminess in pretty much every one of her books besides maybe a couple. I can name off the ones that I've read. Also, make sure before you read these books that you check the trigger warnings, because a lot of them deal with trigger warnings of sexual assault, abuse, domestic abuse, just kind of stuff like that. A lot of important topics. So yeah, definitely make sure you check that out before you go ahead and read it, just because it could be something that might really upset you. So the first Colleen Hoover book that I ever read was Ugly Love, which is a very good book about a girl named Tate, and she kind of ends up liking her brother's friend Miles Archer, who lives across the hall from her brother because she has to move in with her brother for this new job and all this stuff. Sorry if I'm like jumbling everything together and you can't really understand. But basically, they don't have really anything in common at first besides a physical attraction, so they make a little deal to basically be friends with benefits. But it quickly turns into more, but then Miles feels like he can't fully love Tate because of something that happened to him previously, which is what his ugly love was. So yeah, it's a really good book. Definitely a huge plot twist, as every single Colleen Hoover book I've read has had a big plot twist like that. And I really love this one. I rated it 5 out of 5 stars. So this is a great one to start off with if you want. If you are younger and you want to read a Colleen Hoover book, she has one called Heart Bones that I believe is young adult because it didn't seem too steamy. And it's basically about this girl, I think her name is Bailey or Bayla. I can't remember, it's on my Kindle. But this girl, her mom passes away, so she has to move in with her dad, who he hasn't really been in her life, basically. She has to move in with him and his new wife, who's like her stepmom, and then her new stepsister, and she kind of finds out that her dad is kind of rich now, and he lives in this really nice beach house in the summer. And so she goes to the beach house, and then she meets this boy, of course, and they have nothing in common. She thinks she like hates him, and everyone's trying to push them together, and they're just like, can you guys not see that we don't even like each other? But then they kind of find out that they have more things in common than you think, and something crazy happens that it's just like, wow, they definitely have a lot in common now that we know that. But yeah, that one was really good too if you guys are looking for a little bit more of a not so steamy book. So I also have these two by Colleen Hoover, which were very good. And oh wait, I'll mention this one before. I read one called Hopeless on my Kindle. Can't remember it too much in detail, but definitely warning of sexual assault for that one if you guys are gonna try to read that one. It was really good though. Big plot twist as always, Colleen Hoover books. So I have these two, which are for my family book club. This one was our September book, It Ends With Us. I'm sure you've heard of this somewhere, probably on Book Talk or BookTube if you've been getting into those things lately. This one is so good. It's about a girl named Lily, and she meets this guy named Ryle, and then they kind of start telling each other these naked truths, like being brutally honest with each other. And he's like, basically, I don't ever get in relationships and all this stuff, and her dad just died, so she's like not really looking for a relationship. But then they kind of find out that they're more intertwined in each other's lives than they thought, because he has a sister who kind of becomes her friend. She doesn't even know it at first, but she has these letters which she was reading kind of throughout the book, because when she was younger, she had her first love and pretty much her only love up until this point, whose name was Atlas, and he was a homeless boy. And so it kind of shows their love at that point, and then he kind of reappears in her life, and then they have to figure all this stuff out. And then there's Ryle, which everyone loves at first, and then we figure out he is not who he truly is, who he says he is. But yeah, this is a really good book. If you want to look more into it, you can. I'm just trying to like quickly say these synopsis so that you guys can just get through all the books, you know? So this one was really good. I read that like last month. And then this one I actually just finished yesterday. It was All Your Perfects by Colleen Hoover. And it's about this woman named Quinn, and This boy, his name is Graham, and when they were younger, they met in a very unexpected way because both of their girlfriend and boyfriend were cheating on them with each other. And so they show up at their door and they're like, wait a minute, what's going on? And all this crazy stuff happens, and then later they kind of start falling in love with each other. So it goes from then and then now, and now is when they're actually married, which this is not a spoiler because it literally says it on the back of the book. And they're dealing with all these problems, and you're just sitting there like, how can they be dealing with all these problems? And it seems like they don't like each other that much when they were so in love, because you're getting the pieces of their love before and how they fell in love and everything like that. But they deal with some issues that is really hard for her, and she kind of loses herself in these problems, which definitely check the trigger warnings also. But they have an imperfect marriage, that type of thing. But I thought it was really good, and I think it's very important. All of her books touch on something important, which I love a lot, because it's just it's a fiction book, but you always take something away from it, or a feeling, or a lot of people will tell you that they'll make you cry and stuff. Yeah, so this book was super good. Colleen Hoover, she's a great author. Definitely look into more of her books if you guys are interested. She's a very good author. Just want to say that I'm sure you've heard a lot about her though. So there's this other book I want to talk about really quick. I don't have the actual cover paperback with me, but it's an amazing book. It's probably my favorite book, and it's easy to read. It's a young adult book, but just don't let the whole young adult thing throw you off, because this book is actually so amazing. It is called 1,000 Boy Kisses by Tilly Cole, and if you haven't heard about it, you need to read this book. It's the best book I've ever read, and it's so important. It makes you feel a whole entire different way after reading it. And it's about this couple, Poppy and Rune, and they meet when they were younger and make this little pact to be best friends forever. And then you find out like a couple of pages in, or 10 or 13 pages in, but Poppy is assigned with this challenge to get 1,000 boy kisses with someone that she loves, or every time she gets a kiss, she basically writes it down on these little paper hearts and puts it in this jar, like kiss number 1 with so-and-so, and then she always writes, my heart completely burst. But I just don't even know how to talk about this book. It's so good, and you will literally bawl your eyes out. I'm just telling you, I never cried more for a book, and I don't even cry that much for books or movies, but oh my gosh, this book made me cry so hard. It was so good. So basically, when they get older, they start falling in love together, but then Rune ends up having to leave because his dad got this job back in his home country, which I'm pretty sure is like Norway or something like that, because I know he's like this Norwegian boy with long blonde hair, and he always wears black clothes and everything like that. But anyways, Poppy finds out some very devastating news while he's gone, so she kind of cuts off all connections with him, so she doesn't talk to him anymore and stuff. And then he ends up coming back, and he's like so mad at her, like, why wouldn't you talk to me anymore, and you know, you just don't care about me and all this stuff. And then you find out why she wasn't talking to him, and then I can't even say anymore, but it's such a good book. Just please read it. Just trust me on this one. You need to read it. Okay, the next couple of books are series type thing. So these 3 up here, Love and Gelato, Love and Luck, and Love and Olives by Jenna Evans Welch. By the way, let me just show you. The covers are so cute, and these books will make you want to travel a lot, but they're super, super easy to read. I read them such a long time ago that I can't even tell you exactly what they're about, but I know in Love and Gelato, the girl goes to Italy, she falls in love, so it's like already amazing. Love and Luck, this girl goes to Ireland. She doesn't really, there's like some love story in it, but it's just kind of crazy, like a lot was going on. And then Love and Olives, the girl goes to Greece. So if that doesn't tell you enough about wanting to read these books, they're so cute and fun, and the covers are so cute, like you just need them for your bookshelf anyways. But I can't really remember what they're about, so I'm not gonna go into detail, but you can always look it up if you want. Okay, next thing right here, I have this series right here, which is the Selection series, also young adult. Very, very good. It is about a girl, her name is America. At the time that she's living, there's this whole entire caste system. So they have like the highest caste, basically royalty is 1, just for you to get perspective, and then the lowest I think is 8, which means like really poor. Basically there's this whole selection process where the prince of the country goes and chooses, I think it's 35 girls he chooses. Out of all of them, they all get sent to the castle, and he has to choose one of them that he wants to marry. So she gets selected for it, and she's basically like, at first, I don't want to do this at all, because she has a boyfriend that she loves back at home, but he's a lower caste than her, and you're not supposed to marry below your own caste, because then you're basically setting your future up to be, I guess, poor, or I don't know, it's just looked upon as badly, like her mom would not like that type of thing. So she gets selected, and she's like, I don't want to go, but I'll do it for my family, because they get checks and stuff if they end up going. So her and the prince, whose name is Maxon, they kind of form a little connection as friends and like a little deal kind of thing, and it quickly becomes more, and then her actual boyfriend from home ends up coming there. All this crazy stuff happens. It's a really, really good book. I highly recommend. I mean, the whole series is really good. The first 3 books are definitely the best. It's just very interesting, and you get into it quick. At first, the first book that I read before this was Ugly Love, and then I was like, oh my gosh, I'm literally gonna hate this series. It's not gonna be good at all. And then I read it, and I literally loved it so much. It's definitely my comfort series. Yeah, I just loved it so much. So that's definitely a very easy series to read if you wanna go out of your comfort zone a little bit and get into a series, maybe after you read a couple of other books. Whatever you wanna do, I don't know, but I love that series a lot, and it will always hold a special place in my heart. I love it so much. I have other videos where I go into detail about it and that type of thing, but yeah, so those are my favorite books that help me get back into reading, and I think you should try them out if you are wanting to start reading soon, because they're very easy to read and they will make you just love reading again. So if you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, still give it a thumbs up, subscribe down below, and I will see you guys in my next video, and I love you so much. Bye.